Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to share with you some of my New Year's resolution goal making tips to make them and then to keep them. So, first, I want to show you guys what I write down each year. What I did last year, I can't remember if I've done this years before. I've done something like it, I know, but not this exactly. But this seemed to be really good. My 8-year-old did this with me as well. She created one and it hangs in her room. So for me, I have the year and then also just different categories. This one up here is for my business. So if you have a business, you can create a category and some goals for that. I had a quote that I could look at, and mine said, "I exist to conquer. I am persistent. I will not fail." Something that I really wanted to embed in my mind to think about. Okay, the categories are physical, to learn, personal, my word for the year, marriage, and then family. Okay, so I could tell you already right off the bat, I've looked through this to see like which ones I have been successful in and which ones I haven't. The ones I haven't are the ones that I had no plan for. So like one of ours, marriage, was stay committed to date nights. So we were in a season where we were feeling disconnected, and I couldn't figure out how to turn off my mom mode and then be in wife mode and that sort of thing. And so we really wanted to nurture our marriage. And I think 100% you have to be persistent about pursuing each other. And so we made a crazy goal of not only going on date night once a month, but once a week. And the only reason we were successful in that is because we put the things in place. So we asked, or my husband asked his mom to babysit. Like he told her we wanted to do this thing in this year. Would she be open to babysitting every Friday? And she was. And so we put in place these things. We made sure we knew on the calendar, this is what we were doing. I'm not saying that's the goal that you need to make, but the reason I was successful in the things that I wrote down, and some of them was because I had a plan. Things were set in place to make sure it was able to happen. And the ones that didn't are the ones that I didn't have a plan for. So not only should you make this for yourself visually, but then you also need to figure out and go back and come up with some sort of plan. Okay, so I've talked about this on the podcast as well. I just released an episode about it, but a way to make goals and stick to them is to use the acronym SMART. So it's specific, measurable, achievable, results focused, and time bound. So that is a pretty common acronym that I've heard a lot when it comes to goal making, but it is super helpful because it is entirely true. If you say something like, I am going to stop eating gluten tomorrow, and you've never not eaten gluten in your life, you're setting yourself up for failure. For one, like our goals do not need to be immediate to where it's like, oh, January 1st, I'm gluten-free. They should be slow. They should be actionable. You should have a plan and a timeline and be realistic with that timeline. So for average everyday goals, I think they're gonna be small and specific. They're already gonna align with what you have going on in your life, what you're moving towards anyways. And like if you truly want to get to a place to where, for example, you don't eat gluten, you're not gonna wanna say, I'm gonna go completely gluten-free January 1st. But instead, you wanna say something like, I'm going to not eat gluten every Monday and Tuesday for the first 3 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the 4th week into the 7th week, and then kind of go at it like that. Because when you go balls to the wall on things that we've never done before, which seems to be kind of what we usually do when it comes to New Year's resolutions, is we just feel like this is the time, this is our one chance. We got our like Rocky gloves on and we're like, yes, I'm gonna go from the couch to running a marathon and being a UFC champ tomorrow. And it makes no sense because we set ourselves up for failure having not slowly progressed in that direction. And then when we fail, when we fall off the wagon like once or twice, and then it becomes like a week that we don't, then we just completely give up. And by May, nobody's on the treadmill anymore. That's like why everybody, if you're a gym goer, you hate this time of year, because everybody makes this New Year's resolution to get fit, and they go balls to the wall, so the gym is packed, and in 3 months it's going to be half empty because all those people are going to drop off because they didn't have a realistic, specific, time-bound goal, and they were just in there to be in there saying, I'm going to get fit. But what does that really look like? What kind of time is that going to take? How many days out of the week? What are you going to set up in order to do that? Are you going to talk to your husband about every Wednesday I'm going to go to the gym? So you can have something in place that holds you accountable, and also you don't have a reason to skip it. So don't make it immediate. Think about the major needle moving things that need to happen for your goals to be successful. So like what needs to happen, what needs to be in place, what needs to happen. Do you need to bring in help? Do you need to talk to your husband about it? Do you need to have, be in a certain season? And that is another thing I wrote down, be aware of the season that you're in when you're making these goals, and then realize that your seasons change because our kids get busy. We have certain seasons of the school year that are busier than others, and it just kind of changes. And I think that we have to be better at letting our goals kind of flow with that change, because it's going to happen, and being okay with realizing that this is a season. When you get out of the season, you can amp up again. But when you're in the season of busyness and craziness, then it's going to slow down, and it's natural and it's okay. And I think another big tip is so those are pretty much my tips to have a successful New Year's resolution or goal. Is don't make it immediate, that your change should be gradual, and progress is not perfection. You're going to have days where you fall off. You're going to have days where you feel like you don't want to do it, and that's okay. Like, it should be slow moving change that aligns with your life and your long-term goals, or the things that you're already doing, using the SMART acronym of specific, measurable, achievable, results, focused, and time-bound. Being specific of, I'm going to read every night for 30 minutes, Monday through Friday, after the kids are in bed, but also setting yourself up. So having the book ready, picking a book that you actually like, and then having like the things set up at night, so you're not going to bed late, like you're having dinner early, you're getting to kids' bed on time, like those things. Like, you need to set yourself up for success. Being small and specific, unless you're doing a business, and then I think when you're like thinking about your business, your goals are more big and specific, but for everyday goals, they're probably small and specific. And then if it's long-term, which I think most of our goals should be, unless it's like reading or something, but if it's fitness, if it's health-based, if it's wellness-based, it's probably like by the end of the year, I want to be here. And then you work backwards to say like what needs to happen for me to be in that place a year from now, and then break it down of like, okay, January and February look like this, March and April look like that, and so on and so off. So that way at the end of the year, you've reached your goal. And good luck to you. I hope you have a happy New Year's. I hope this was helpful. It's what I'm going to be doing this year. I haven't set my goals yet. I think we're going to do that probably tonight or tomorrow. As a family, I usually have business goals and then family goals, and then me and my daughter do something like this, and then me and both kiddos do another sheet that we get off Pinterest that I will link below if it's still up. And then we'll go through, we have a jar of like little papers that we go through that says like the things that we were most memorable. So we'll throw in just little notes of like when I found my dad on Facebook, put that in there. So that way at the end of the year, we can empty out the jar and read all the things that were like exciting or that we like thought were momentous. Is that a word? Momentous. Anyways, I feel like I'm not saying it right. But you know what I mean. That's what we're doing. Hope you guys have an awesome New Year's. Catch you later.